It's now time for Front Office Insights presented by Sage, and we bring in the president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman. First off, congratulations on winning another World Series. That never gets old.
Thank you.
It was the all-time World Series classic. It was still remarkable. MLB tonight, MLB Network, I should say, we're going to run a special presentation. Bob Costas, Tom Verducci breaking down that Game 7. That's how special it was. But let's talk about Edwin Diaz first. As Ronnie just said, your team was so strong. Modern-day Goliath. You got bullpen. Well, go get Diaz. He's the best closer available. What was the thought process there?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's hard for us to talk about right now, but we can talk in theory.
Sure.
You know, for us, and you guys touched on it, there's so many different ways to win, and for us, it's about, you know, figuring out the strength of our roster, leveraging it the best we can, and in 24, it was through our bullpen, and in 25, it was really through our rotation. And you know, our bullpen obviously didn't perform up to the standard that we expected going into the year, and it was pretty surprising to us. And, you know, every spring training I talk about the thing that keeps me up at night is the bullpen. It feels like every year I feel the best about it is the years it's the worst. The years I feel the worst about it, the years it's the best. And there's such volatility to it. You know, those guys are tightrope walkers for a living. It's hard. And so for us, if we were able to strengthen that and add to it with what we feel like will be a really strong group coming back and some bounce back, that it has a chance to be a strength again.
I think what I find remarkable about your team, yes, you have some of the best players in the game, but you have the right players too. And this is a team that, even though they have back of their baseball card is filled with great exploits, they're hungry. You can tell when you're in that clubhouse, when you're talking to Dave Roberts, when you see them on the field. I was watching your team warm up before batting practice in the NLCS. It was as good of a well-oiled machine that I've seen in baseball in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing for us. And, you know, obviously, you know, those long-term commitments, they're challenging. And it's so important to us to get the right kind of person. The talent is easier to identify, not easy,
yeah.
But the type of person, the work ethic, how much they care is really important to us. And I think you can see through our longer term commitments, those guys, and it stands out to me every day watching our star players, their daily routine, how they prepare to go win a baseball game that night, and then looking across the field. Every day I kind of say to myself, like, this stands out. Yeah. And I can't say enough about our guys, the culture that has been created within them, and just how much they care about winning.
You know, Joe, when you look at Mookie Betts, you know he's chomping at the bit to get to spring training and put this year behind him, right? And getting a chance to see him go through from day one, when you went to Japan, not being healthy, not being sick, you know, what do you foresee for him as far as just, is he the everyday shortstop and, you know, moving forward for, you know, for a long time and being healthy and getting to camp the way he's been in the past?
Yeah, I can't say enough about Mook, and I don't think enough attention has been highlighted on the fact that he became a finalist for the Gold Glove.
Yeah.
There was question whether he could do it or not. Yeah. To the people who knew Mookie, it was, you'll never bet against the guy.
Right.
But for him to do that, and he could have very easily won a Gold Glove, and just the way he poured himself into it, obviously getting sick, losing the weight.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Comeback Player of the Year works for a guy who played last year. But I'll bet on whatever that award is, I'll bet on Mook in 2026.
I feel you on that.
Well, what's going to be like, you know, Ohtani in the World Baseball Classic, he's such a workhorse, Andrew. It's incredible, his durability. But the fact he'll be in the WBC and then going over to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that the last World Baseball Classic, and watching, you know, before it started, I went over to Miyazaki and watched Team Japan start warming up and start their practice. I was like, oh my God, these arms, incredible.
Yeah.
And just seeing that whole process play out, and you know, that final game against the U.S., it was really special. It was fun to watch, and it's not often that I get to watch a baseball game without a real vested interest. To just be a fan and take it in was awesome.
He was throwing 100 in March.
Yeah.
How you do that, Ronnie?
No one knows. No one knows. Right? No, nobody knows. I'll tell you, I had the last game I did this year. I did Game 4, the NLCS. Tani hits the 3 home runs and 10 strikeouts. I didn't work for 6 weeks. How can you work after a game like that?
I hear you.
I'd never seen anything like that before, and we were, I think, very easily seeing the greatest all-around player that ever laced it up.
That's what I feel as well, and I think in some ways he's underrated. I don't think the human brain can wrap its arms around just how incredible it is that he is so elite at both, in the work and the effort and the fatigue, that just all of it. And it's incredible how gifted and talented he is at both, and the impact he's had for us is immeasurable.
Last thought, Rocco Baldelli, one of the great guys in the game. You guys have that connection in Tampa. I love the fact you're bringing him into the fold now. He'll be a special contributor to you, right? Special advisor?
Yeah, he had him as a player, and then he worked with us when I was with the Rays. He is one of the best humans I've been around. Great baseball mind, great connector, and he's excited. He's excited to get involved with our player development and help some of our young, talented outfielders. Just the way his mind works, how he connects with people is next level.
Great move.
Winning on the field, winning off the field. That's the LA Dodgers. And a big credit to this guy, Andrew Friedman. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Now, for the next thing, they've got to be pretty excited in Philly to see Edwin Diaz is leaving town in Queens.
Yeah, out of the division.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers. What's your gut shot on that?
So if you know, John Heyman and I wrote a story that we posted like less than an hour ago saying the Dodgers are in this big, that it was the Mets competition with the two World Series participants, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. And once the Dodgers...
Joel is so fired up. I love it.
Once the Dodgers get involved, even when it's Steve Cohen, it is hard to beat the Dodgers. Location. Like I once said to Steve Cohen when they failed on Yamamoto, you could move heaven and earth a lot, but you literally can't put the Pacific Ocean in the Atlantic Ocean, right? And location matters. This is a team that's willing to go to the top of the market over and over and over again. I think that I don't know what this is. I was able to confirm that this happened. I wonder if they did 3 years at such a record annual value that even the Mets didn't want to go there.
Boy, those casinos cannot arrive fast enough.
How does the Devin Williams play into the Mets not bringing Edwin Diaz back?
No,
Do they value him that highly as a closer?
Well, remember, David Stearns had Devin Williams in Milwaukee, knows the player really well. I will say that the Mets are not stopping on, we lost Edwin Diaz. I think they're very much in on Robert Suarez, and I think they're very much into trade talks. For example, with his old team Milwaukee, they're talking about like Trevor McGill. I'm sure they're even talking bigger players than that out in the marketplace. The Mets are also not we're surrendering. They see what the Phillies did. They're not just going to say, Devin Williams and we're done because Diaz left. But Diaz also, maybe not to the extent of Schwarber, but Diaz was a good clubhouse guy in a not great clubhouse last year, and they lose that as well. He's known as Sugar, and he's a really sweet guy.
And I'll tell you what, the Dodgers have a closer.
Ken Rosenthal has some details
3
here.
years.
Here we go. Yeah, 3 years.
So that would have been I was comfortable saying that because we reported, John. Because what John and I reported is, if you remember, like when the Dodgers tried to get Bryce Harper in free agency, they offered like a 3 or 4 year contract with a very, very high annual value and said, you might be able to find the big money someplace else but we'll give you much more a year, and then you could go back into free agency again. My suspicion is this is when we hear the number, it will blow away. The record is like 19-20 million per year for a reliever. It's going to start with a 2 and be much higher than 20 is my gut if they got him for 3 years.
You know who's home among the many saying thank you very much? Robert Suarez is saying, good, let's go. Let's hear more about it. Pete Alonso is saying, thank you, good, let's hear more about it. And
Matty, I'm sorry I cut you off there, but that's the thing. The Mets had 2 players opt out in Alonso and Diaz, and they really, really wanted to keep them. And am I right that this is the first time? I found this offseason interesting because this felt like the offseason where there were more players from big markets out in free agency that teams wanted to keep than I ever remember. Part of that was so many guys did deals with opt-outs, like Alonso, like Diaz, like Bregman.
Four of them took a qualifying offer.
And this is the first one that left a team that wanted him, and it was the Mets. Like Josh Naylor went back.
We have the number. We have the guess. Take a guess on the number.
327s.
327s. Reveal, guys, because I don't know what it is. We have it. We've got the number for Diaz.
369. So it's 23 a year. So the previous record was 20-ish. It's deferred. 5 at 102 was his last deal, but it wasn't really that. 19 million in real money for Josh Hader was the record. So in real money, he just beat it by 4 million
Staggering.
per year.
Well,
so the Dodgers said, we're willing to pay you a lot more per year to come here, but we don't want to go to that 4th or 5th year. The Mets also were offering 3 from what I understood, and Diaz wanted 5 for, this is where I'm going to finish my career. That didn't happen.
Boy, and you got to thank Shohei Ohtani for his $2 million again this year.
This is amazing, man. This is for so much for the we're not going to pay closers anymore. We're going to cobble together matchups at the back of a bullpen. That's so 2010.
Matt, I would remind you of 2 instances. In July, what was given up for Joan Duran, what was given up for Mason Miller. You could tell me one thing. I don't care what you say. I care what you do. And then we watched the World Series where even the 2 teams left standing were worried about their bullpen.
Yeah.
One of those teams was the Dodgers. You know what they just did? Went and got the best relief pitcher on the market because their destination is history. They already have 2 in a row, and they don't want to stop.